All right, there we go. 20 after 8 on the 17th of July, 2022. That's it. I just wanted to get a shot of this before I leave. I thought this was kind of weird. They must have had a temporary road going across here because that's paved, but they didn't do a very good job. You know, maybe it was a detour or something. I don't know. And then there's another section in there that looks like it was a road. So is this where the old road was? But I don't know. It's just kind of, you know, maybe a detour. They put down a quick layer or something. Anyway, all loaded up and ready to go. Yeah. Anyway. Oh yeah, there was a time change over. Well, I don't know. I didn't notice. I think I rebooted the phone yesterday. So I don't know if the time zone was on the Montana line. Is probably where it would make sense. It didn't seem like the phone changed when I came across the line, but sometimes when you reboot, that's when it gets the time change. So, yeah, anyway. So that would mean we're in mountain time, and where I live in Texas is mountain time, so that should be the last time change for this part of the trip. Yeah. Anyway, so I've got phone signal, but I haven't had data signal for the last 2 days. So I've got really good coverage here. It's just not working on the data, so I can't upload anything. I can't get a weather forecast. I have no idea if it's going to rain or not. It's not supposed to. Well, that's the thing. The last couple times I did a weather forecast, it showed 10 days of sunshine, and then the second day it rained on me. So I'm like, what's up with that? You know. Anyway, take it when you can. But I got good sun now. I got lots of power, so I should be able to go flying. Feeling good today, so we should be able to make some good time. There is some up and downs, but it doesn't look like I climbed more than a couple hundred feet all day. So it's not like I'm going over a 4,000 foot pass or anything. So that part's good. I looked up a while ago. The Continental Divide is still in front of me, so that's going to be a climb, but I won't hit it today, I don't think. I don't remember. Doesn't really matter. I'll get there when I get there. I did some planning last night, though. I was kind of looking at my options, but the way I'm looking at it right now, I'm kind of like, I feel bad about not doing the 22 states, but at the same time, I'm not really set up for finishing all 22 on this part of the trip because I've got so much extra weight, right? And a lot of the extra weight is just, it's valuable parts and stuff that I don't want to just throw away, and I can't mail it practically, like the batteries. So what I'm looking at is I'm going to just go basically from here, Montana into Wyoming, hit Colorado. I'm just going to go straight down through Colorado. A little bit different track through New Mexico. I think I'm going to hit Roswell, New Mexico, just as a waypoint, not necessarily that I care about the aliens there. But just kind of take a different way home. I think that's going to take me through Carlsbad. I'm not sure if I'm going to stop at the caverns or not. Carlsbad actually isn't very far from where I live. So some of this stuff I'm looking at is like, well, I don't necessarily have to, like, for instance, I'm going to basically bypass Yellowstone, but I'll be pretty close to it. National parks are expensive right now, so, I mean, on my budget. So I can always do that later, okay? So then I was kind of looking at, okay, I'm going to get home a lot sooner than I thought I was. If I take some time at home, like a couple, you know, maybe a week or two, go over the trailer, make some changes. The bike itself is in really good shape, so I'm good there. So if I could make some little changes and then go out and pick up the next 10 states, basically, right? So, you know, I would do the western states, and then what I was thinking before is, you know, what if I did the western states this year, the middle states next year, eastern states the year after that? Well, I'm realizing I'm going to be home pretty early, right? And if I can get home in 40 days, like I think I can, at 50 miles a day average, with what I've learned so far and what I know I need and what I know I don't need, reduce my load, I should be able to do the next 10 states way faster than I can do these states. Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Changes on the trailer. I may or may not use this trailer as a starting point. It's got some good parts and some bad parts. I think one of the trailers I have at home is in better shape. It's stronger. So I think for now it makes more sense to stay with 2 wheels instead of going back and trying to rebuild the 1-wheel trailer, which I don't even have because I had to throw that away after Death Valley. But what I want is 26-inch wheels instead of these 16-inch wheels, right? And the one trailer I have at home already has that, so I might use that as a starting point. It'd be a lot better platform. One of the issues, okay, the little wheels just roll harder and they wear out faster, okay? So if I do a bigger wheel and a longer wheelbase, it'll be stronger. I mean, it'll be smoother, and it'll be stronger because they're bigger wheels. But where I'm at right now is I've got the long tail sticking way out behind the axle, and so that gets a weird kind of a porpoising oscillation, jumping up and down problem. So if I stretch out the wheelbase and put the wheels behind the center of gravity instead of in front of it, you know, it'll ride better. And then get rid of some of the weight. The last thing I'm looking at is getting some panniers. And when I reduce my total load, I can put most of my load, airplane. Across the highway is the airport here, so that's the first plane that's taken off since I've been here. I didn't think it would be very busy. Okay, so move the weight onto the bike, which I think can handle it better than the trailer can. So I'm kind of like looking at options. You know, if I reduce the load on the trailer, maybe I'll just keep the trailer because it'll ride a lot better if it's got, you know, way less load, right? Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm looking at. I spent some time looking at it. So basically, if we go from, we're going to finish Montana and Wyoming on this trip, and then go home. Next trip, we'll go the next 2 states over, so like North and South Dakota and Minnesota, and get that. And that'll give me all the states west of the Mississippi. I had always been thinking I had 24 states there, and I went back and counted, and it's 22. So I'm not sure how I made that mistake, unless I had a different way of drawing the line last time. But on my phone, I get confused because I'm looking at a smaller screen. So anyway, I think it looks like I can if I can get the rebuild done pretty quickly, I'll have plenty of time to get up and back again. And the last part of the decision, I think, is going to be on this trip if I can maintain 50-mile days, and I think I can. So if I'm able to do 50-mile days, then I can plug that into the next trip, and I should still be home before, get up to the northern states as quick as I could, and then come back. And that's something I had also looked at, is could I pick up the northern states and then go home? Well, that doesn't really make any sense, because I want to get rid of this load and then do the second trip. I think makes more sense. It seems kind of weird to do it that way. So I get that. It does seem kind of weird, but at the same time, if I can make a more direct route home and then kind of reevaluate, I think is how I'm looking at it. So yeah, anyway, that's it. I'm going to get on the road before I get confused. 8:30, go. Nice. Motion on the sync even. Cool. It's one of those things that, especially with not having internet right now on my phone, just between towers or whatever, I'm at a rest stop that was like half an hour further than where I camped. I sure could have made it to here. I stopped really pretty early, but I didn't know this was here. And it's like on the map, I looked ahead on the map. There's a campsite here on each side. It's like marked one loop here and 2 loops over there, like just kind of a driving loop, right? So it's a national campsite, but it's on the same exit as the rest stop. So you come into the rest stop and then you keep going a little bit and then you go to the campsite. So it's like, well, if I would have known this was here, you know, at least the rest stop, right? Yeah. Anyway. And I looked, there's no map here. Usually, like on the last one, there was a whole information center and maps, and it showed a bunch of campsites, and it showed all the rest stops, and I didn't think to take a picture of it, you know, and here there isn't one, so, yeah. Some of the rest areas are marked on my open source map, my open streets map or whatever it is, the offline map. But with Google not working without data, I can't search is what it is. So, yeah. Just a reminder, I guess. Well, like in New Mexico, I Googled it and I found mile markers for every rest area on each highway. So that made it real easy, you know. It's just a matter of I don't have the internet right now to do it. So, yeah. And yeah, that I didn't talk much inside there, but same kind of setup. So it looks like this is the way it's going to be for Montana. Toilet, urinal, you know, normal restroom, but each restroom is private. So you can lock the door and you're in there, you know, you're not sharing it with 15 other people kind of thing. So kind of nice. And I'm also seeing some plugins out here, and that's something to think about. If I could push a little bit harder and then plug the bike in. I thought about that on the last rest stop, but I needed to do some maintenance in the morning anyway, so by the time I got finished doing everything, I had a good enough charge, plus I was going downhill for the next 20 miles anyway, so I didn't need it. But if this is going to be the case, it would be something to think about. Yeah. Also, for future trips, if I decide not to, you know, I had this motivation, I guess, to prove that I could do it on solar, which is great. But instead of buying bigger solar panels, if I knew I could plug in once in a while, you know, if I stopped for an hour and plugged in, that would give me a pretty good boost. And then I wouldn't have, you know, if the panels were smaller, then I wouldn't have as much wind drag and, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, something to think about. Anyway, I'm going to sit here and finish my snack and then hit the road. Since I got an early start today, I don't want to blow it. It feels nice to sit down in the shade, though. Okay, this is U.S. Forest Service, $15 single day, and you can get a discount if you got the passes. Alright, so they're probably all about the same, and we need cash because it's self-pay. Alright, cool. About 11:30 in the morning, had a flat tire, got 2 little wires stuck into the tread. That's on the new tire. It's going to be less thorn resistant than the old tire was. Although I've had these things go right through the good tires too, so I figured this was a nice place to stop for a quick pull-off. Pretty nice places here. I don't know if that cabin is going to show up in the middle there. Yeah, it should show up. That looks pretty nice. I was going to stand in the shade, but I keep getting all those little seeds and stuff stuck in my socks, so I just worked in the sun. It's not too hot yet. Plus, since I was sitting here and it's a rear tire, it's easier to do it with the trailer disconnected, so that got the trailer aimed into the sun. I'm getting 140 watts right now, so that's pretty good. Got it aimed just about perfect, so pop the tire back on and get everything put back together. We should be out of here in a couple minutes. Not quite 8500 speeds, but I had a new tube, so I just put another new tube in. Now I've got 2 tubes with holes in them, so if I remember, when I I get into camp next time, I'll patch them, have them ready to go. Yeah. Okay, 1 o'clock. I spent about an hour here. Officially a parking area, not a rest area, but it does have a porta potty, or probably a vault toilet. River access is the road there. It's marked for fishing, and a lot of people were rafting and stuff down there. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, I just used up one of my tubes today, and I was like, it's gonna take a minute to get off the road, walk down to the river, cool my feet a little bit, and fix some tire tubes. So I had 2 that had leaks in them. So you can't find a pinhole leak on the side of the highway because you can't hear it and you can't feel it, and you don't want to waste your drinking water trying to find the leak, right? So I go ahead and take the tubes and my patch kit and my tire pump down there with no raft. That looks pretty funny, you know. Check it out. It's like, okay, here's the leaks. Get them all patched up. Check them. Good to go. So now I got 2 more spare tubes again, you know, and an excuse to get off the road, and you know. Plus the bike was up here charging, so I've got now 51.5 volts, so that's pretty good. So I'll do one last quick pit stop and hit the road. Yeah. With that much power and good sunshine, I should be able to go faster now, so yay. Welcome to Missoula. I got off the freeway coming into town. It's only 4:30 now. I'm gonna keep going for a while, making pretty good time. I got a good tailwind right now, so might as well take it for all we can. All right, welcome to Missoula, Montana. Still, unexplainably, I do not have internet working on my phone, and I don't know why. I'm getting signal. I think I could probably call somebody if I cared, but the internet's not working. You know, it's got full signal. It shows LTE. Usually that means I got something to work, and it's just not going. Rebooted a couple times. Just nope, not gonna do it. So I'm making videos and everything, and can't upload them. It's a Sunday. Oh, this is the thing, is I can't. You know, I was like, okay, where's the Walmart? I have no idea. This is fine, I don't care, you know. I got a couple cans of soup, I got some blueberry muffins or bagels, got a bunch of bananas, got some yogurts. I was looking at ice cream because it's like about 100 degrees today, and I'm just melting. And ice cream was like $5 that little pint. I'm like, no, I don't care. And that's the cheapest one I could find. $6 was the good one. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So yogurts were 69 cents each, so I got 2 of them. That's close enough. So yeah, and we'll eat the hot dogs and then keep the rest for later. But yeah, I had a tailwind all the way through town. I was cruising about 18 miles an hour, barely using any power. That was pretty cool. A little bit downhill. So for the next, I don't know, next day or two, I'm going to be climbing about 5,000 feet. So yeah, that's going to be a little different. But at least then we'll be at the top. So yay. All right, lunchtime. Well, 8:05 p.m. Not much daylight left. Also some clouds. Hasn't been a factor for solar. Anyway, this is a parking area with a pit toilet, not a full rest stop. I really pushed hard on the battery, just drained it completely, thinking, okay, the last 2 that I stopped at, there was places I could plug in. And I didn't even think about this. So yeah, we'll be sitting here a little bit tomorrow getting charged. I got about 46 volts, I think. So I was doing really good until the last hour. And well, hang on. Yeah, so I was doing really good until the last hour, and I saw a sign for it just said camping and fishing. So I'm like, all right, check it out. That would give me river access at least. So I get down about 5 miles off the road, following parallel to the freeway. And I get to the end of the road, and it's like, oh, it's an RV park. And they were closed. But I found somebody that worked there, and they're like, well, it's $25 a night, but that gives you a shower. I'm like, okay, tempting, but I only had $15 cash on me. So I'm like, that's out. So I asked if they take 15. No, can't do that. Okay, fine, no problem. And right across the road was the fishing place, but they were daytime only, no camping, no overnight, right? So I went in there a little bit to take a look, and there was about 12 cars there still. Like, oh, that's gonna make it rough if everybody's there, and then, you know, what time do normal people leave, kind of thing. So I'm like, well, okay. While I was there though, I went down and washed my hands in the river because that felt good. And I looked on the phone, and my Googles and my data still isn't working, but on the offline map, I did see this place. And I hadn't noticed it before, but it was kind of in about the right area, because the last rest stop that I saw, or that I stopped at, usually it'll say rest stop ahead, next rest stop. I think it's at 87 miles or something like that. So I'm looking, I'm like, okay. I didn't know if this was going to be it or if there's another one, and I didn't want to really ride any later than I had to. But when I realized that this one was only 15 miles from where I just had stopped at that other campsite, I thought, well, okay. I looked at my battery, I looked at the sun, I looked at the clock, and I'm like, well, okay, if I push hard, I can get here before dark, but it's going to really hit the batteries. All right. So I figured, all right. So I was running 20 miles an hour on a lot of it. I had like just maxed, well, not quite maxed out, but I've got like 3 levels set, so I usually run on 300 watts. I kicked it up to 500 watts, and I've got a speed limit set at 20 miles an hour, and it'll disengage cruise control and engage regen at 20. So if you come over the top of the hill without even touching it, it'll start slowing you down for you, which is kind of nice. And so I was hitting that a few times. I'm like, okay, so I'm right on the edge there. Then I'm watching my battery going down and down and down, and I'm like, oh no. It's like, come on, I don't want to pedal the last mile. And then I realized it was actually slightly uphill all the way, so I'm pushing it faster than I needed to. I'm like, all right, back it off a little bit towards the end. And then I got another piece of wire stuck in that tire again. So that new rear tire is not my friend. It's not as resistant, I think, as the old tires were. But the old tire was wore out, so I've already gotten 2 flats on the new tire, and I've only had it on for 2 days now, so that's not stellar. But anyway, just keep patching them, I guess. And the AdSense money comes in on Friday, so when that comes in, I'm going to hit the next bike shop and see if I can get better tire. Thing is, this was still a $50 tire. It's a really good tire, it's just not thorn resistant. Alright, so anyway, that is that. I put in a solid day. I'm going to look at my miles here in a minute. I think I did pretty good. I wasn't sure if I'd even make Missoula, and I hit that at like 4 o'clock or something. Stopped and bought the groceries, so I got a bit of food. Bagels I figured would be better on the road than I was getting a loaf of bread. I'm like, you know, the bagels, that looks really good in the morning, so they won't get beat up as bad. The loaf of bread was getting all squashed. I think the bagels will stand up better on the trailer. So, yeah, anyway. It was good to get off the bike. As much as I like riding and like the bike, there comes a point. It's like it's time to get off. I'm also realizing that the shoes that I just bought in, I think I bought these in Northern California. The other shoes were completely falling apart. These ones are just not comfortable on the pedals. I think the soles are too soft. And I'm also realizing I'm probably pedaling harder with the right foot than the left, because my right foot hurts more than the left one. So I think I'm compressing the foam padding too much. And it feels like I got a rock in there constantly, and I think it's just the pedal where it's hitting me. So yeah, anyway, cheap shoes, what are you gonna do, right? So I'm very much considering, I probably will get toe clips and clip pedals, whatever you call them, for is it pedal clips or cleats? I forget. Anyway, the ones that your feet, you got special cleats on the bottom of your shoes. It's almost like how a ski boot works, only backwards. So you got the cleat on your shoe and it clicks into the pedal. I've used them before and I liked them, but I didn't want them on this trip because of the old trailer. I felt like the trailer might be unstable, which it was, and I'm really glad I didn't have the cleats on that, because the trailer would just randomly want to tip you over. So it's nice to be able to get your feet down. But, you know, 7 or 8 hours on the road, your feet just stay locked into the pedals, and it's really nice. So I might get those before the next trip. I just need new pedals, and then I need to buy the special shoes. And yeah, anyway, it's just more stuff. But the new handlebar grips, I'm liking those a lot. So that is making it more comfortable. That's kind of the idea, is I got to just look at every little thing that can make it more comfortable on the ride, so that you know, if you're in pain, it's hard to make the last 2 hours kind of thing. So also, this hat just is not staying straight. I'm always walking around like a dork. Some people look good like that. I don't want to do that. So anywho, that's it. No more talking. Yeah, third day in a row I haven't been able to upload a video, and I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. So figure that out, I guess. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Oh yeah, one last thing before I forget. I looked, I did 88 miles today. So still haven't hit 100. If I would have seen this place when I was riding past it, I would have stopped here anyway. So I think this might be the one that the sign was saying before, because it's, you know, I said, like on the other clip, I said rest area ahead, and then the next rest area will be 88 miles further, kind of thing. So I'm thinking this might be the one that they were talking about. Not sure. So, and I haven't been able to confirm that since my internet's not working, which is really annoying. So yeah, I got to think eventually Starlink on a bicycle would be a good idea. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, no wonder I'm tired. But I mean, I stopped at the river and fixed 2 tires, tubes, and I stopped several times to pump up this tire that's flat now, and the last tire that was flat, I pumped it up twice, and then I stopped and fixed it. I stopped at the grocery store and got some stuff. When I was at the river fixing the tubes, I just sat there and cooled off for a while. So I wasn't really pushing super hard, right? Stopped a little bit at, there was a Love's Travel Center, and this kind of bugged me a bit. I had, they've got Wi-Fi, but you need an account to use it. Okay, so I'm like, fine, you know, there's an option. You could, you know, if you're a trucker, you'd have your rewards card, and you'd have free Wi-Fi, no problem. But since I don't go to Love's often enough, that didn't seem like it made sense. So I was just going to pay for $4 or 4 hours worth of Wi-Fi just to upload the video, or the 2 videos that I haven't uploaded yet. And so I sat there and messed around, drank my Coke, and it just never went through. So I was like, well, shoot, I'm trying to throw money at him, and it wouldn't go through. But that still took me time. So I'm just sitting there, like, you know, okay, I was enjoying the shade, but I could have also been on the road. So yeah, it was like I had several times where I stopped and didn't ride, and I still made 88 miles. So I guess my point for that, when I do the reload for the next trip and get it to the point that I have less weight and less drag and bigger tires on the trailer and optimize things a little bit better, I'm like, yeah, I think 100-mile days should be reasonable if I just get rid of all the extra weight I have. So that's what I'm thinking. So I haven't figured out the miles yet, but if I do the next trip, it should be about, let me look, hang on a second. Okay, sometime later, I don't have all the maps loaded in the offline map program, so I can't figure out an exact route, but probably at least 3,000, probably closer to 4,000 miles for the second half of the trip still. So could be 3 months, I guess. So August, September. I'll think about weather and so on. Southern states would be fine. Northern states, if I can get up to the northern states before it gets cold, I'd be fine. So I guess the trick would be figure out how fast can I get to the northern states and how soon it's going to get cold up there. I mean, because when I was in New Mexico, my water bottle froze, so I already know I'm good down to freezing. You know, I didn't enjoy it, but I survived it. So as long as I don't get snowed on, that would be awkward. And we'll just kind of look at it from there. The other option is I could do a bunch of southern states and not go north and still make my 22 states, so I don't necessarily have to do all the states that I listed. That's another option. So if I don't think I could make it fast enough, but what I'm really looking at is I could unload what I don't need, repack, fix a couple things, and hit the road pretty quickly. So yeah, something to think about anyway. Figure it out when we get home. Just thinking ideas right now. So all right, that's it for now. Stay tuned.